Hey and welcome back to my channel. As you've seen, it's been a funnel week. So if you are easily triggered and you are really focused and you can't stand to hear like any cheats and things like that, please do by all means turn off now, because I would hate to be detrimental to somebody's journey. However, I think it's important that I do record this because I think every part of this journey for me is going to come with ups and downs, and I just need to get it off my chest and like draw a line under it. So, today's Thursday. Today is my weigh day. I usually go and get weighed on a Thursday. And from the title that I've put on my thumbnail, I have put on weight. It says on the title I've put on a stone. Well, I have, but maybe not the stone that people expected. This week was my 6-week anniversary, and as you can, 6-year anniversary, and as you can see, I have got engaged. It was an absolute shock to me. I have had a series of bad relationships throughout my life, and I'm very defensive, and I got it in my head I was never, ever gonna get engaged, and I was never, ever gonna get married. And I think part of that's maybe like on reflection, I've had to do some like self-reflection here. It's probably a lot down to like a defense mechanism and trying to protect myself from the series of hurt that I'm sure that many people have been through. I'm quite independent. I've got my 2 kids. I'm quite happy with my life and what I've got going off. And it's just not something that I saw myself doing. Anyway, this week was my 6-year anniversary. I've never, ever lasted more than, well, the joke is between the 5 and the 6-year mark, I always end up in a relationship that has a breakdown, and I never, ever see it through to the 6-year mark. Oliver has taken a year's worth of banter of us saying like, this is the year that you're going to go and the things are going to go wrong. Something always happens, like always happens to me. So I'll give a little bit of a background as to maybe then you've got a bit of understanding as to why I'm so defensive. My first partner just wasn't interested in my daughter when we had her together. He cheated on me like numerous times, like tons. He was a chef. And I found out about that when we broke up, and he committed fraud against me and got a loan in my name to buy himself a car. So obviously that relationship was absolutely screwed. My second long-term relationship, he ended up with a serious drug problem, and I am not about that, and I'm definitely not having that around my children. So that relationship ended. Then I was in another 5.5-year relationship, and he ended up with like a gambling problem. So I am not dealing with that, and obviously risking mine and my daughter's lives. And it just went right. He was a lovely guy and all that, but just was not for me. Just not got enough oomph about him, and it just weren't right. And then there's been Oliver, who has now survived for 6 years. And not only has he survived for 6 years, but he is now my fiance. I've never been a fiance ever before. So I have put a stone on this week, but it's a stone. It's not actually a stone in weight. So I am going to tell you about it. So please, by all means, cut off if this is not for you. So we like going into the Peak District. Our place is a bit of like Bakewell. We love Bakewell. And for a 6-year anniversary, he took me out for a surprise day out, and he planned it all. We drove there, we walked into Bakewell, and he'd already bought me some diamond earrings, which I really love those. And he's not the most romantic, so that was enough for me. The fact that he'd gone to the effort and picked him himself and done that. We then was at the Lovelock Bridge, and he gave me this box. It was a black box, and it had got like a love heart locket on that it had inscribed, and it said mine and his name, and then the day that is the date of our anniversary, which again, like I said, is not the most romantic guy in the world, and we argue like cat and dogs, and our relationship is not perfect at all. However, this for me was a massive effort, and stuff like that just doesn't happen to me. So that was absolutely beautiful. I then proceeded to take this lock out, and on the back he'd had engraved, "Will you marry me?" or whatever he'd written. And I just went into complete meltdown. Turned around, he got all flummoxed and all over the place. And it bought me a ring, which he has picked himself. And I'm really proud of him, actually, because I don't know, I think it's kind of nice that I haven't bought my own ring. I've not picked it. He's picked it. It is very much Oliver. And for that reason alone, I absolutely love it. He asked me, he'd not even got down on one knee, so I was like, I just didn't answer because I was in shock. He then got down on one knee and said, will you marry me? Crazily, without even thinking, I took a picture because I was just in shock, and my phone was already in my hand from taking a picture of the love lock. And obviously then he put a ring on my finger and we got engaged on Bakewell Lovelock Bridge. We've put the love lock on the bridge and that is there now, and it was just a really, really, really nice thing for him to do. We had a beautiful day. We have done nothing but celebrate and like spend time together. It has made me a little bit loved up with him and a bit like, I don't know, I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to drop my defences a bit, and I'm like calling him fiance, and I've posted it on Facebook and people know about it, and it did freak me out a little bit. However, I have put on a stone and it's not a bad stone this time, so that's not bad. I'll get now to the dieting or non-dieting. So for the entirety of this week, I've not dieted. So on Thursday last week, if you've watched that video, I put on 5 pounds and felt really peed about it. I went out and ate that day and then had a full intention of being 1000%. I think Friday I was okay, I wasn't bad. And then Saturday, I don't think I was great. I can't actually remember. This week has been an absolute whirlwind. We then went out on the Saturday, and during that day out, I had a latte, I had a jam and cream scone and an afternoon tea. We then went out for a meal to celebrate just together, and we went to Frankie and Benny's, and I had a hot dog and chips, and I've had desserts. We've been to Bella Italia. I think that was on Thursday, actually, after I got weird and I were really peed off and I were having a day off, which has then proceeded to be a week. I had dessert at Bella Italia. I had pasta. We had a starter. I've eaten bread. I've had cheesy bread. We then, the day after, when things had sunk in, after on Sunday, on Sunday I got engaged. On Monday, I think it was, I can't remember what we did. One day this week anyway, when it actually sank in, I think it was Monday night, I'd worked late and it sunk in what he'd done, and that he'd been really romantic and he really likes curries, and I never go for a curry, and because I'm dieting, I'm like, no, it's not worth the sins, I'm not cheating with that. I took him to Akbar's as a bit of a thank you and a bit of something for him. I had the most massive, and I mean, like, it must have been this big, I kid you not, naan bread, a garlic naan bread, and I ate tons of it and it was divine. I had mushroom rice and a creamy curry. That was absolutely beautiful. And then last night, which was Wednesday night, he cooked a meal for us, which was like this lemon pasta, which is gorgeous and not particularly off plan. But then I had half a garlic bread with that. And then I got a Too Good To Go box, and I ate two, not just one, two Krispy Kreme, like, what they're called, donuts. Divine, really nice. However, really not on plan. I kind of already got in my head this week that I wasn't going to go. So I got nominated last week for this Woman of the Year. That absolutely freaks me out. As confident as I try and come across, and people don't see it in me, that was not a thing for me. It just completely freaks me out. I don't think I deserve it. I think there's a lot of people who do a lot better on this diet than me. I've got a long journey to go. I just do not feel confident stood up in that room telling people why I think I deserve it, when in actual fact, I really don't, especially after last week putting £5 out on and then being really naughty this week. So I woke up this morning, I'm exhausted, I've worked so many hours. Oh, yesterday I ate sushi too. I ate sushi for my dinner and some strawberries, which again, not really like horrendous, but not the best. So overall, it has been a really, really shitty week. I have kind of stop it, Mabel. I've kind of consciously chosen not to be good this week after the engagement, particularly because I didn't want it to be pressured. I didn't really want to do the diet. I didn't want to think about what I were eating. It's not that I don't enjoy the food and I'm not going to proceed with it. But I just think, like, after all the effort that Oliver's been to, he deserved a bit of, like, celebration. He adores going out and he's a real foodie. So am I, really, but he more so than me. And I just didn't want to restrict myself. And then on top of that, I'm trying to get out of the cycle of feeling guilty when I have something that's not on plan and when I've cheated. And that's a little bit of the decision as to why I've decided not to go and get weighed today, because I'm definitely going to have put on. I already put on £5 last week, which it absolutely devastated me, I'm not going to lie. Maybe that subconsciously has like knocked me a little bit this time. But then I also don't want to feel bad for having a week off, because in the grand scheme of this, I'm going to be on this a long time and I'm going to have weeks where I come off plan, and I don't want to guilt myself into feeling like that. However, that being said, I don't also want to go back into old habits of just eating all the time. And it is important to me for me to lose weight and all the rest of it. I have not got weighed this week. I have skipped this week. I am not getting weighed this week. I am not going, and I don't want to. And that's a decision that I've made for myself and my own focus and my own mental health. I'm not gonna lie, talking about it now and saying it out loud makes me feel a little bit guilty for not sticking to it and like letting myself go and being a bit of a letdown and a failure. But then on the other hand, I also have got engaged this week. I don't know if I told you this, but I've got engaged this week and I am now a fiance. Not particularly that, but I just think it's gonna come where I have weeks where I am naughty and I don't stick to this plan, and I think it's important that I can like have a week off, not feel horrendous, and then not want to throw the towel in. So now is the challenge to get back on plan. I am working today and tomorrow, like loads. I haven't prepped a great deal, which I need to start doing because that's been another downfall. I will then hopefully have a really good week on plan, and I will go and get weighed next week because I can't not, because I've got to do this. I think that's about it really. That's about where I am. This weekend I have no majorly plans. Lily's staying out at my friend's for 2 weeks because she's house sitting and looking after the dog, so Lily's not around. Tia is back home because her partner's moved back to his mum's after being in student accommodation, so she's around a bit more. And maybe with all, like, it is going to be a bit of a hup heave. I don't think it's great, but it's fine. I'm just plodding on with that. So that is my news for this week, and I'm sorry that it's not any better. I'm sorry that it's not, oh look, I've achieved some more marks off my 5-stone target for going away. That's not a thing this week, and unfortunately I wish it was, but it really isn't. But it is good news. I am engaged, and that is the first time in my life I have let myself be a fiance. So I think that's quite an achievement for me. Like, that is quite a big thing. Hopefully I will be updating with a bit better news and things hopefully next week. But wish me luck getting back on plan and being a little bit stricter with myself.